All right, today we're diving into something really fascinating, the hidden architecture of altruism. We're going to look at what really makes helping others feel so good, and, maybe more importantly, when it can totally backfire.
You've heard it a million times, right? Serve others and you'll find happiness. And it's a great sentiment. But the real story, the one backed by actual psychology, is a little more complex. What if helping sometimes doesn't make us happy at all? Let's dig into why.
So first things first, let's start with that basic promise, the one we're all familiar with, the idea that serving other people is a direct line to feeling good about your life.
To really get this, we need to understand that according to positive psychology, there are kind of two flavors of happiness. First, you've got pleasure-based happiness. Think a great meal or a funny movie. It's awesome, but it's a quick hit. It doesn't last. But then there's meaning-based happiness. This is the deeper stuff that comes from having a purpose, from feeling like you're contributing. And altruism, it taps right into that deep, lasting well.
Okay, so if service gives us this deeper sense of meaning, what's actually going on inside our heads, inside our psychology? Let's take a look inside the helper's high.
This whole idea actually has a name. It's a field called service psychology, and it's basically the science that studies how helping other people affects our own mental and emotional state. It's all about pro-social behavior and, you guessed it, altruism.
And what this science has uncovered is this really powerful four-step process. See, service gives our life meaning. That meaning helps quiet down our anxious, self-focused thoughts. When that happens, it starts to build up our genuine self-worth, and boom, that's what activates this cascade of positive emotions. Let's break that chain reaction down a bit.
So let's kick it off with a huge one. Benefit number one is that service gets us out of our own heads. It physically shifts our focus away from that nagging, anxious voice that's always comparing us to others.
You know that inner monologue, right? The one that's always asking, am I successful enough? What do other people think of me? When you are genuinely focused on helping someone else, those self-obsessed questions, they just kind of fade into the background. The pressure just lifts. Okay, so what's next in the chain? Well, when you help someone, you're not just doing a nice thing. You're sending this incredibly powerful message directly to your own brain. And that message is, I matter. My actions have a positive impact. This isn't about ego at all. It's about building a really solid, healthy foundation of self-worth.
And then, of course, there's the biology, the actual brain chemistry. Helping others triggers this amazing feel-good cocktail in your brain. You get dopamine, which is all about reward. You get oxytocin, the connection or cuddle hormone. And you get serotonin, which helps stabilize your mood. Your brain is literally built to reward you for being a good person.
This powerful mix of chemicals is exactly what scientists call the helper's high. It's that warm, glowing, connected feeling you get after you've truly helped someone out. It's not just in your head, it's a real biological thing. So far, so good, right? It sounds like a perfect recipe for happiness. But, and this is a huge but, this is where our story takes a really important turn. We have to talk about when helping actually hurts. And there it is. There's a big, flashing warning sign that comes attached to this whole promise of service. Here's the critical piece of the puzzle. That helper's high is not guaranteed. Not at all. In fact, service can make you pretty miserable if your heart isn't in the right place. It'll backfire if you're just doing it to get approval from others or because you feel guilty. It'll backfire if you overdo it and burn yourself out. And it will definitely backfire if you're secretly expecting a thank you and you don't get one. Yeah, this isn't the path to that warm, fuzzy helper's high. This is a one-way ticket to burnout and resentment. It really proves that why you serve and how you serve are every bit as important as the act of serving itself.
So, how do we get it right? How do we build a way of helping that's actually sustainable and makes us feel genuinely good? Well, that brings us to our final section, the altruism blueprint.
The blueprint for doing this the healthy way is actually beautifully simple. It's built on just 3 pillars. First up is choice. You're serving because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. Second is boundaries. You gotta protect your own energy and well-being. And finally, there's meaning. Making sure the thing you're doing really connects to what you care about.
And all of that brings us to the ultimate formula, the big takeaway here. When your service has real meaning, you get that feeling of contribution. When you act from choice, you have autonomy. And when you set and keep your boundaries, you get balance. So, contribution plus autonomy plus balance, that is the true architecture for sustainable happiness through altruism.
So as we wrap this up, the final question really is for you. When you look at this blueprint, contribution, autonomy, and balance, where in your own life, at work, with your family and your community, where can you apply it to build a more sustainable and meaningful life?